Hi, this is my review of Critical Hits 5e, Critical Hit Outcomes for Game Masters. Some of you may remember that I reviewed a similar product, but for players. If you haven't seen that review, please check out the playlist in the description below. This time, we have this tool for Game Masters to determine different effects when the different enemies, the monsters, the beasts, manage to strike that lucky hit on the player characters. Now, let's talk about the quality of the PDF. This is available as a physical deck of cards or as a PDF booklet. The PDF version actually comes in two files when you purchase the document, one that is printer friendly and the other one in full color. Everything is well written and explained. The organization is also good. The graphic design and layout, it's pretty simple but in accordance or in harmony with the theme. The background has this sort of bloodied paper look to it, so it's very much in theme with the subject matter. Now let's talk about the contents. First, you have instructions telling you how to use this set of tables. When a creature fighting the party rolls a natural 20 on an attack roll against them, you roll a d100 to select a table. Each table has 4 entries for different damage types: slashing, piercing, bludgeoning, and magic. Each table also has a severity level in the left-hand column: setback, dangerous, life-threatening, or deadly. It is recommended that you use only the setback results at level 1. Simply have the d100 roll to limit the results. Dangerous results are appropriate for level 5, life-threatening from level 9, and deadly from level 13 and above. Of course, you can choose to play with all of the tables from level 1, but things can get quite deadly, of course. These tables are intended to enhance the characters' stories, and some carry long-term or even permanent effects. After all, the player characters are going to be affected by these critical hits. Where an end point is not specified for an effect, it is up to the game master how to end the effect, or even if it can be ended at all. Indeed, setting out to do so could be the seed of an adventure in itself. If an effect would not make sense in the specific situation, simply ignore the result and roll again, or default to double damage as the effect for speed of play. For creatures who would normally roll extra dice on a critical hit, such as half-orcs and barbarians, roll a d100 the same number of times and choose one result to play. When using these tables, U refers to the player character affected by the hit. Now let me tell you about some of the results. Perhaps you score on table 1. In the case of slashing damage, you get the effect of "Wanna know how I got this?" This is double damage and you receive a permanent scar on your face. If you used a piercing weapon, you obtain the result of "All fun and games." Roll a d100. On a 2 or less, you are blinded in one eye. Maybe you get the result of stunning blow if you use the bludgeoning weapon. You make a difficulty 12 constitution saving throw, and on a failed save, you are stunned until the end of your next turn. If it's magical damage, you obtain the effect of "Say what?" You are deafened for 1 minute. Maybe you obtain the result on table 11. If it's slashing damage, you get the effect of "Something slipped." Your armor class is reduced by 1d4 for 1d4 rounds. If you use piercing weapons, you obtain the effect of "Distracting strike." Double damage, and you cannot take reactions or bonus actions until the end of your next turn. If you use bludgeoning weapons, you get the effect of "Crushing blow." You make a difficulty class 12 dexterity saving throw. On a failed save, if you are wearing plate armor, its effectiveness is reduced by 1. If it's magical damage, you obtain the effect of "Lingering energy." You make a difficulty class 12 constitution saving throw. On a failed save, you take 1d4 of damage of the same type as dealt by this attack at the beginning of your turn for the next 1d4 rounds. Maybe you obtain the result of table 25. If it's slashing damage, you obtain the effect of "You got off lightly, more or less." Triple damage, that's all. We hope you don't die. If it's piercing damage, you get the effect of All fun and games. Roll a d100. On a 5 or less, you are blinded in one eye. Maybe you obtain the effect of stunning blow when you use bludgeoning weapons. You make a difficulty class 12 constitution saving throw. On a failed save, you are stunned until the end of your next turn. If it's magical damage, you obtain the effect of say what again. You are deafened until you take a short rest. Maybe you obtain the result of table 48. If it's slashing damage, it's a heroic end. Maximum quadruple damage. If this attack kills you, all allies who can see you have advantage on their attacks for 1d10 rounds. If you use the piercing weapon, you get the effect of shot through the heart. Make a difficulty class 18 constitution saving throw. On a failed save, lose 1/4 of your maximum hit points at the end of your turn for 3 rounds. If you get the effect of good night when using a bludgeoning weapon, it's quadruple damage and you are knocked unconscious. If it's magical damage, you obtain the effect of magical barrage. This attack deals maximum damage and an additional target within range is affected, or the spell's area of effect is increased by 15 feet. Maybe you obtain the result on table 50. If it's slashing damage, it's disarmed. Make a difficulty class 18 dexterity saving throw. On a successful save, drop what you're holding. The game master decides which hand, or determines it randomly. On a failed save, take quadruple damage and lose the hand. Maybe you obtain the result of something slipped if you are using a piercing weapon. It's quadruple damage, and your armor class is reduced by 1d10 for 1d10 rounds. If you are using a bludgeoning weapon, you get the effect of smashed hand. Make a difficulty 18 dexterity saving throw. On a failed save, you are permanently unable to grasp with one of your hands. The game master decides which hand, or determines it randomly. If it's magical damage, the effect is Midas Touch. Quadruple damage, and your hands are permanently imbued with magical energy. Every non-living thing you touch is affected as if by the damage type taken. And these are just some of the results. There are plenty and very thematic and potentially graphic. Now let me give you my opinion on this deck/booklet of critical hit results. I think it is excellent, and even though it has been designed for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, you can adapt it to any edition of Dungeons & Dragons, also any pseudo-clone, retro-clone, pretty much any D20 based system. But you could also adapt it with a bit of conversion and tweaking to other systems as well. So I highly recommend that you get it. You can purchase it in Drive-Thru RPG, or you can get it at the Nord Games shop. If you purchase it there are different formats available, and you get Nord points that you can use in future purchases there. As a final recommendation, I also think it's a good idea to think about the sort of role-playing game or campaign that you are playing. If you want things more gritty, definitely use all of the results of the critical hit table from the start. But if you want things a bit more balanced or make it a bit easier for the player characters, definitely stick to the recommended levels or results of the tables according to the instructions. Thank you for watching this review, and thank you so much to those of you that have been supporting the channel by sending Drive-Thru RPG certificates. If anyone else wants to further support the channel, the information on how to do that will be in the description below. Once again, thank you and see you later.